In many ways, I consider myself a pugilist or a martial artist, but at my core, it is combatives or personal protection that has really been a big part of my mission. In the world of combatives, there's no such thing as fighting fair. Anything that will give you an edge on someone else trying to do violence to you, you should be willing to use, whether that's edged weapons, blunt impact weapons, in certain countries, firearms, whatever you can get to give you that advantage over someone who's trying to do you harm. Because combatives are not for sport, they're not for ego fighting, they are for survival-based fighting. In that realm, anything we can do to turn the tide of battle in our favor, we do. However, I was told that by demonstrating this stuff, by demonstrating these little snippets of training, I may be giving information to bad people to use. I may be giving information to criminals. So I thought about this. I've thought about this lots before, and I've already come to my conclusions on this, but I thought it was time that I shared those conclusions and also included some mentors and friends in this industry with their opinions on that. Mike Raymond, founder of the Medusa Edged Weapons System, had this to say: the bad guys already know this. The biggest factor is they have intent. You can have all the training you want, but without intent, it will never work. This is why the best people doing violence have zero training in martial arts. They use intent. No criminal is learning Filipino martial arts for years and years to get better at using a knife. He already knows how. A knife is a simple tool. It's just a piece of steel. Bad guys know that if they stab you in the neck, you'll probably die. The man who started me on my Medusa journey, Jason Schultz, who also put together the manual that is so succinct in explaining knife violence, had this to say: they already have the information, referring to criminals. Our mission is to put that information into the hands and minds of the good guys. These two statements sum up why I think it's important to train a system like the Medusa system. This also illustrates that the Medusa system comes from the criminal use of knives. The criminals already have this information. It's the good guys who don't. Being a knife practitioner and adding the Medusa system to your training makes your training more realistic, gives you a more realistic base to train what you're going to need to counter. When I put this question to Scott Babb, founder of the Libra Knife Fighting Guild, he had this to say: if someone wants to murder someone else with a knife, they don't need me to show them how to do it. It's been happening since the first time a caveman jammed a pointy stick into another caveman. It's happened all throughout human history, and it will happen long after you and I are gone. Murder requires no skill. It only requires intent and opportunity. What does require skill is surviving someone with that intent. Having the physical skills and mental/emotional capacity to fight through that and survive is where guys like you and I come in. Psychopaths aren't watching our videos and studying what we do, trying to figure out how to be more effective psychopaths. They're just going to pick a softer target. We develop in people the skills people need to survive that intent. If they want to walk up and stab someone to death, they're just going to walk up and stab them to death. But if someone is on the other side of that, they're going to have to be far better with a blade to survive that without suffering life-altering injuries. Master at Arms and living legend of knife combatives, James Albert Keating had this to say to me when I asked him about this: in my own opinion, the so-called bad guys never come to those as us. They do not spend money on such training. They do not invest in the type of stuff we offer. It's not on their menu. They are expedient. Grab whatever weapon/tool is about them and simply kill. Gun, rock, claw hammer, or whatever. They kill. They need no special training. So that old fucking argument is that somehow what we do only adds to the fire of violence is false through and through. Finally, Sotis, the founder of Amok, had this to say: "I've taught approximately 15,000 people, and to my knowledge, no one has ever used it improperly, though I've had dozens write to me to tell me how it saved them. 85% of my clients are family men between the ages of 30 and 65. Only 15% range from the ages of 18 to 30 years old." This age statistic is very important. And when I look at my channel, the age range of viewers is broken down like this. Ages 18 to 24, 4.6%. Ages 25 to 34, 12%. 35 to 44, 25.3%. 45 to 54, 28.3%. 55 to 64, 20.6%. 65 and up, 9.3%. And my viewers were 100% male. Statistically, the ages that commit the most violent crimes are between 14 and 19. These statistics, for me, tell me that the right people are getting my message. The right people are looking at this. They're likely dads, family men who want to learn about martial arts and maybe want to learn about self-protection and combatives. Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman, in his book On Combat, was able to illustrate one of the most important dangers in making mass shooters more effective at killing and picking targets, and that was first-person shooter video games. In fact, they were so much more effective in teaching kids to be able to shoot and target people that the military has used them in training and has found them to be very effective. If you want to see what is giving criminals better skills, look no further than what most of us are letting our children play. I'm not criticizing video games. I'm just saying that it has been shown that psychologically it allows perpetrators to be better at picking out victims and calmly shooting in high-stress situations. When you look at what I'm doing here, you are just seeing movement. There's no morality behind it. It is only if I am forced to use it for real that it becomes a legal issue, that it has to be scrutinized through the criminal justice system. Otherwise, this is just me practicing movement and rehearsing self-protection. There is no intent to use this criminally, and the people who watch this generally, most likely, statistically verifiably, do not have that criminal intent either. And what the people with criminal intent have is intent. And people like myself, Jason Schultz, Mike Raymond, James Albert Keating, Scott Babb, and Tom Sotis, all we are trying to do is pique the interest in people who would like to have a higher level of skill and the ability to counter criminal violence with higher skill and better ability so that they can survive and protect the ones they love and themselves. This information is not getting to the wrong people. I believe it's getting to the right people, and I hope to give them more.